Testing. Testing. Is this thing on? I don't know. This is the DLIUZ 4K 60 frames per second action sport camera. Comes with a 16 megapixel sensor, 170-degree lens, built-in image stabilization, a 2.26-inch liquid crystal display, and a 1200 milliamp hour battery that gives you up to 2 hours of recording time. You have the option to record in either 30 or 60 frames per second, anywhere from 4K all the way down to 720p. However, at 720p, you actually get the option for slow motion, up to 240 frames per second. It has Wi-Fi built in, allows you to connect to an app, even though that app doesn't work for me, and has dual microphones to help reduce noise. As far as specs go and B-roll, that's pretty much about it. Now I'm going to cover what comes in the box. First up, we have a clamp. Has a little connection there, that's a whole standard GoPro connection thing. And then to hook up to it, it comes with a case that works up to 30 meters. This, just like this. In the case, we have a user manual, a separate non-waterproof attachment case, some little stick-on attachments so you could, stick it to something and attach it. A little rotating adjustment thing to where you could like move it, I guess. A USB 2.0 cable and some straps. And one more, looks like replacement sticky stuff. So. Yeah, I kind of wanted to get all that out of the way. Basically, tell you what it has to offer, and move right on to the demonstration. And it just so happened that today I was making myself a cheeseburger. But not just any cheeseburger, a bacon cheeseburger. And not just any bacon cheeseburger, no, this is like 50% bacon. Okay, like 40% bacon. So I'm not sorry if this makes you hungry, but at least this will give you an idea of what it looks like up close and personal while recording some food. I'll even leave some of the audio in so you could hear that as well. As I move throughout the process of cooking this bacon cheeseburger, I do want you to know, yes, I slap my meat, at least this particular meat, on purpose. I know you're not supposed to push down a cheeseburger because it squeezes all the juices out, but when your cheeseburger is like 50% grease, you kind of sort of have to squeeze some of the juices out. And while I can say that this camera does have some pretty good quality, especially when it comes to recording cheeseburgers, it suffers from one major flaw. And that is, you cannot smell this cheeseburger. I just don't know what it is with action cam producers. They just haven't got it through their thick skulls. You have to put smell-o-vision in these things. I mean, why is it not a thing? How am I supposed to make a burger and have you smell it if this thing has no sensor for recording smells? Moving on and taking a break from my bad jokes and the cheeseburger, I'll give you a short example of me walking around to the side of my house. This is recorded in 4K at 30 frames per second, and I just decided to walk around the side of the house, up to the front, pick up a piece of trash, and go take it to the trash. I mean, it's these kind of action scenes that just make people's heads explode. So if you want to rewind and watch that again, I do not blame you. Another bad joke aside, here is another example of the camera's quality. This is looking over the pond behind my house, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of the quality of looking at things a little bit farther away, like landscapes. I actually have to say, I'm kind of impressed by the quality of this camera. I've tested out some really budget action camera. In fact, I still have a DV Power that I tried to use a couple times, and that was like one of those things where it's usable footage, but it's just not that clear. And while I usually don't like to say the prices in videos because they seem to fluctuate all the time, this camera comes in at $160 on Amazon. And when I saw that price tag, I was a little worried because, it's like an off-brand, little known name action camera, at least by me, and it cost $160, and you could literally just get on Amazon, search for these budget, no-name action cameras and find them for like $40, $50, $60 all day long. And although I can't compare all of those different camera qualities at that price point, I can say that at $160, this camera quality is pretty impressive. Now this of course is going to be a terrible example because my studio lights pretty much mess with all of these different cameras unless I tune the white balance, which you can do, I just haven't done. But either way, this should give you a pretty good idea of how sensitive this microphone is. I mean, aside from, listening to the cheeseburger cook earlier. I'm not done with that, by the way. Oh no. Now, like I said, it does have an app that you can use in order to, remotely control the action cam, do some live viewing, stuff like that. At least I think. I say I think because I can't get it to work. First of all, it absolutely insisted on me enabling location services, which was irritating. After I did that though, and I try to go into the action cam, all it does is just crash the app. I'd show you, but there's nothing to show. I just start it up, I click it, and it just crashes. So it's kind of pointless. Bear in mind that this is on an iPhone. It's with the iOS version of the app, so if you have an Android, it's very possible that you won't suffer the same issues. As far as the menu goes, I can say that it is relatively simple to figure out. All you have to do is kind of figure out how the buttons are. Like for example, it has two buttons at the top, so you can press and hold this one that has the little, cog on it. This powers it on and off if you hold it long enough. And to get to the settings or to change the recording mode, all you have to do is tap this button and it'll cycle through the different options. Until it looks like it's on, until it gets to settings, and then if you want to go into settings, that's when you hit the record button on the top. And then from here, it's a little weird, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. You can cycle through the different menu options, like the tabs at the top, by hitting the cogwheel again a single time, until that gives you an option to exit. Or while you're in the menu system, if you tap on the record button, it'll go down the list of different options that you can click on. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to change this 4K at 30 frames per second and I navigated to that one, I would push and hold it and it would bring up the next menu. Yes. Once I'm in the next menu, I can cycle through until I find the quality, the resolution, or the frame rate that I want to choose. And once I'm on that, I just push and hold it again and it changes it. Now you can set this up to do time-lapse recording, which I think I want to try to use that for a project that I have in mind. So you can have it record like every 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 30 seconds. But once you're done with the menu system, you've changed and made all the changes you want to do, you just go right here and boom, you're out. And that's pretty much it. It's easy to use. It actually has some pretty decent quality to it. It does cost a little bit more than some of those like super off-brand budget action cameras that you can find on Amazon, but I can say that the camera quality is very respectable. Yes, I am a little let down that it does not have the smell-o-vision sensors built into the camera, but since the technology does not exist yet, I can't really knock it too hard. If you guys want to check out this camera on Amazon, make sure to follow the links down below. There you'll find a few more detailed specifications as far as its capabilities, and of course, up-to-date pricing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, of course, post them down below. Thank you for watching, and go make a cheeseburger. Burn, baby. Perfect. Oh yeah. Yep, yep. That's delicious.